This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings. Online at madeformorerealty.com.
On today's show is a very, very special guest. In fact, when I first moved to Sacramento, I remember rolling around in my Toyota Tacoma pickup truck, listening to the audiobook and going, man, this is such a great idea. Why are more real estate agents not doing this? It'd be so cool to implement this someday. Fast forward, not only have I implemented it, but my story is also included in the revised version of this book. And now on the show today is the author of The Golden Handoff, Nick Krautter. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me, man. Good to talk to you.
Dude, this is honestly like a full circle moment for me. Like I vividly remember sipping on my black Starbucks coffee and going, this like my mind was blown. I was swerving all over the road. I was all excited. I was like, why are more people not doing this? So do you mind just sharing a little bit, before we get into the nitty gritty about your backstory and kind of why you ended up writing The Golden Handoff?
Yeah. So The Golden Handoff, like you said, is basically a game plan of how to buy the business of another agent that is looking to either slow down, relocate, or retire from real estate. The revised edition's been out just about a year now, and that has a game plan to get connected even sooner before an agent's ready to truly retire. And the original book was about agents fully exiting because all the businesses I was buying it was during the recession. So 2010 to 2012 was really when I did the most in the acquisition phase. And then I kind of built this big machine, and my challenge then was to grow the team and have enough agents to serve all those clients, because we had grown from 200 clients to 2,000 clients in just a couple years. And when I say clients, I don't mean leads. I mean people that have relationships, that take our calls, that read our newsletter, that come to our events, those types of things. So
that's what I was going to say. It's very different. You're not buying Google leads or Zillow leads. Like these are people that have relationships with the entities and the businesses and the people, that they've worked with, right?
Yeah.
That you've now bought. So you were a newer agent in Portland, right? And you were getting started. And then how did you stumble across the idea of buying another realtor's book of business?
So one of my really good friends is in the book. So there's three characters in the book. Those are all real people that I worked with, and they kind of have different stories. And the first one was Renee, and she literally had the office next to mine. So we shared a wall, and we were very good friends. She had a very solid referral business. Higher price point. She's, I think, 10 years older than me. So, I was starting out in my late 20s. She was in her late 30s. So my clients were buying their first home. Her clients were buying their big, nice, fancy home in the good school district. And so I always really admired her. And she started a family. And so she decided to transition into like more of a corporate job and have kind of, normal 9 to 5 hours, have her weekends back, because she was raising 2 kids. And I said, hey, I'd love to help your clients. And I didn't have a plan. I just knew she had this amazing group of people that she had really good relationships with. And I was hoping to work with her. She actually said no. She said, you're too busy, you're too successful. And in her mind, she was worried I wouldn't give her clients enough time because I was busy with all of my own clients. And I was like, well, I'm going to do for your clients what I do for my clients, and I'll keep growing my business. So she hired someone else who was struggling, thinking, oh, well, this guy isn't that busy, so he'll have more time. But the problem is people that aren't busy and aren't doing well are usually there for a reason.
Yep.
And 6 months later, she found out the reason was that this guy was not calling his clients, and he didn't call her clients. And he didn't set appointments. And when he did, he asked her to come along because he didn't have the confidence to go on a listing appointment and do a buyer consultation on his own. And so after 6 months, she's like, geez, now I'm working 2 jobs.
Yep.
Because every time something comes up, I've got to jump back in. She knew she was losing people. So she was kind of trying to still nurture, but she didn't really have time because now she's working a full-time job somewhere else that was very demanding. And she came back and said, look, it's not working. Do you think it's too late if we switched and you took over? And I said, absolutely not. It's only been 6 months. Most people haven't even thought about you. They haven't moved. Buying it's on real estate, it's not on the radar for 95% of your clients. So let's just reset. Let's figure out what went wrong and try to fix it. And that really became that became the process that I talk about in the Golden Handoff. And again, it's not complicated. It's just the retiring agent is endorsing you to their clients. And then you have a marketing plan that probably looks a lot like the marketing plan for that retiring agent of, you know, what did they do to stay in touch? You know, events, calls, newsletters. Now with video, social media, there's a lot of other ways to stay connected. You know, I started this in 2010 was when I bought her business. Social media was just becoming a thing. It wasn't even really that big of a thing in real estate. I was doing video tours of houses, but we had to use an actual like camcorder and then put it on a computer and edit it.
Yeah.
There was no YouTube online editing and using your phone, and it became much easier, but there's a lot more tools to stay connected to people these days. And so we did that.
So when you bought her business though, like did you end up putting any money down, or was it completely seller financed, or what did that look like for the first one?
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because I hear this all the time, and I think this is one of the reasons a lot of realtors that try to do this with a traditional business sale model, it doesn't work, because it's very difficult to value a real estate business. Because when you take your top salesperson out of the business, what's left, right? So it's your relationships and really the value of your endorsement, and then the work of the new agent, right? How much work are they putting in? And I go over all these variables, but no, there's no money up front. It's all based on referral fees. And so I didn't need to write a big check. I didn't need to take a big risk. You know, and because of that, she was committed to making sure that this worked and helped me really go through her database and know who everyone was. And, you know, she was in 2010 when the average price of a home in Portland was probably a little over $200,000. She was getting $3,000 to $4,000 a month in referral fees. Now, that might not sound like a lot today, but the average price of a home in Portland is 3 times what it was then. So just 3x that referral income. So that it was really, today would be $9,000 to $12,000 a month of referral fee income with zero cost and zero overhead, because I'm paying for everything now, right? So that's the cost. Is I'm sending out more newsletters. I'm hosting bigger events. You know, I need to hire more people to make more phone calls to more clients. So it's not a freebie, because you could maybe buy your first business and just work more. But once you buy that second one, you have to have a plan for scaling and having more agents and more support. And so that's the cost, but the upside is so high. Do the math too, right? So I said, you know, in today's numbers, $9,000 to $12,000 a month of referral income. Well, that's the 25%, right? So I'm keeping the 75%.
Correct.
And so all of a sudden, you know, we added a couple $100,000 a year of income to the business. So now I've got a lot more income to invest in better systems, better tools, better marketing, get really good support staff, pay them well. And that's what we did. I actually hired Renee's assistant when she transitioned out of real estate, because I was growing and I needed more help. And she was really skilled and already knew all these clients. So it was that first one ended up being pretty seamless. And
was that
for
one of
not
the better
really
ones, or was it?
It was, because she had a smaller client list, but really deep relationships. And she was virtually almost 100% by referral. So I would say that people ask me like, well, is there a business that's too small, or is there a business that's not worth buying? I would say the only red flag for me is if someone has a successful business, but it's all prospecting and marketing based, and they don't have follow-up referral and repeat clients, then they're doing a good job getting people in the door and getting the deals done, but they're not necessarily nurturing those relationships. And so the more an agent does a good job nurturing relationships, that's going to show up in a high percentage of repeat and referral business.
Yep.
And so whatever anyone says to you, or whatever they're trying to tell you they're doing, you look at the source of their business, and you'll get a very good picture of where are they investing their time and energy, and what's working.
So this is something, I've talked about, and obviously I've done personally. But as I'm out there looking for more people to do this with, because there's a lot of the average age of a real estate agent just continues to climb. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of people who are looking to get out. But at the same time, I'm having a hard time finding people who would want to take this next step when you were buying all these businesses, in 2010, 2012, how did you find more people to partner with?
After that first partnership with Renee had some time in it, a couple months, and we were seeing really consistent activity. I was getting a lot of appointments. I wasn't competing for business because that referral, that endorsement meant a lot to these clients because she'd invested in that relationship. My team leader and the manager of my office started connecting me with people because they knew of everyone that was slowing down or was going to move across the country or, retire in a traditional sense or relocate into a different, change into a different business. And, no one was thinking of selling these businesses. So in a sense, it's the easiest thing in the world because you're approaching an agent who doesn't believe that their business has really sellable value, or they don't know how to do it. They think it should be worth something, but they don't really have a model. And a lot of the leadership isn't really providing help. Now the Golden Handoff's been out 10 years, which is wild. Next month will be 10 years exactly. A lot of people in the leadership now are aware of this. And so they'll be like, you should read this book or listen to some podcasts or something about it. But early on for me, and I would say even now, the majority of people don't have a plan. And so if I approach an agent that's retiring or wants to slow down, and I say, hey, I can help create this wonderful income stream for you. And I'll take the risk. I'll take on all the costs. You can eliminate every business expense you have other than keeping a license, which in most states is a couple $100 a year. It's not a, I wouldn't call that an investment. It's like less than a TV, subscription.
Exactly.
So you're solving this problem they don't know they even have, and you're giving them a way to unlock all this value. And if you can take over the process so when the letter goes out to their clients from the retiring agent, I'm actually the one doing that. So it's on the retiring agent's letterhead. It's from them. They sign it. But my team's printing the envelopes, printing the letters, and sending them out. Whether we're doing that, at the office or whether we're hiring a company to do that, we're managing and handling and paying for that whole rollout, that whole, handoff process.
Yep.
And so we try to make it as easy as possible for these retiring agents so that they don't have to put a lot of time and effort into it. Because that's something that I see a lot is by the time someone's ready to retire, they're so burned out that the idea of even trying to like clean up their database sounds so overwhelming. They kind of like give up and hide. But
Yeah.
it's not hard now to do it, right? You can step in and help solve that problem for them and make it easy, and that really unlocks that relationship. But the biggest mistake I made, and the reason why I did a new edition is, and I've spoken to this a million times, but I treated agents who are retiring just like you treat a home seller. Sometimes you call them and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe you thought of me. I've been trying to solve this problem. I want to do this. I've been wanting to do this for a while. Can we meet today? And I've literally had that happen where I explain what I can do and someone wants to meet right away, that day or tomorrow, and we have a deal and we're executing the process right away. But then the flip side is, just like a home seller is like, hey, we'd love to work with you. We do want to move, but our kids are in high school. And so until the last kid graduates from high school in 4 years, we're going to be here. And so you just check in every year. And then in year 4, you're like, okay, now we can sell your house. You can downsize. Well, I didn't have a plan for all those people that weren't ready yet. And the new version of the book has a whole section about partial handoffs. And to me, that is the key to unlocking it so much earlier, because you don't have to have it be 100% in or out. So you can talk to someone who is slowing down and is phasing out of the business kind of naturally. And by the way, they're losing clients because they're not engaging.
I was talking to a guy yesterday or recently, and he's like, man, I wish I would have met you a few years ago. My business would have probably been worth a whole lot more, but I've just been coasting, spending time with the grandkids. And I'm like, well, maybe we can get it back up. If we re-engage your database, maybe we can get some increase in those sales.
Absolutely, especially too, like in, every market cycle is different, but we're in kind of a long market cycle. People are staying in their homes longer right now for interest rate reasons, for economic reasons. There's a lot of different components to why right now we're in kind of a long cycle Whereas around COVID, we were in this ultra rapid cycle where people were getting in and out of homes super fast. I mean, I know people that were moving every year or every other year from 2020 on, and now people are kind of hunkered down. So for that example, yeah, that business, he might not be engaging with it, but I doubt they're doing that much.
Mm.
And so if you can reconnect now, you're still going to be in front of that decision for most of those clients. Not all of them, but most of them. But the partial handoff allows you to find someone like that and say, hey, you don't have to quit. Like, who are the top 20 or 50 or 100 clients you love and want to work with and are excited to call and excited to engagement, and you want to take to meet for coffee or lunch or do a little meet up or whatever. Why don't you just keep your best, deepest relationships that you enjoy the most, your A plus people, but this whole huge long list of other people that were good clients, but you just didn't engage with for some reason, or they're not as responsive, or they don't really need anything right now, and so you haven't called them because they told you they're going to stay in the house for 20 years, so you're not bothering them. Those are all the people that you can help. It might look like a certain neighborhood. It might look like they want to keep a certain price point. It might look like, hey, I want to do listings, but I don't want to work with buyers. So now you're handling all the buyers, and they're not losing them.
What I'm hearing you say too, though, is having that intermediator, that trusted person to connect the agent that wants to buy the book and the agent that wants to sell the book of business. That really helps bridge the gap, because that's kind of what I'm running into. The one lead that I'm working right now, he's like, "Oh, I know Tom Daves. We work way back." I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely. Talk to Tom. Tom will tell you all about how it went down and if he thinks I'm worth partnering with, and or if he would do it again." And so it just sounds like if somebody's looking to grow the side of their business, they probably need to find those connectors, those people that can help bridge, because the cold connection is really scary for people who are 60, 65, 70, and now talking about retiring to somebody that they've never met before.
Yeah, it is. But I think if you can meet them, it's just like meeting a home seller you haven't met. It's like you have a client that, oh, my neighbor's going to move. Oh, I gave him your number. There's no deep relationship yet. You have to show up and establish that. Sure. Now, once you start, like you asked, how did I find those? Well, after the first one, which I kind of figured out on the, we kind of made up a plan. It wasn't like made up maybe is a little bit dismissive. We had a good plan, but there was no model we could follow. So I had to like kind of create a plan, a succession plan and an endorsement plan, introduction plan. And all that got wrapped up and became the Golden Handoff. Is like, after I did it a bunch, we were able to give it kind of a name and define it. But once you start doing that, like you said, Tom Daves, well, Renee would tell people, oh my gosh, Nick's doing a great job. I'm getting checks every month. My clients are happy. They thank me. Because your clients are all going to go find another realtor, and some of them will find a good one, and some of them will find someone that isn't that good or is brand new and it doesn't have experience. And, the retiring agents do care about their clients. They do care about someone doing a good job and being honest and fair and putting in the work and giving them the same level of care that they gave them, or hopefully better. Yeah.
That's what I want to touch on too, is that this is really like a lot of these people, they've helped parents, children, grandkids buy properties. Like these are deep relationships, and just the idea, like just because you don't know what to do with it, those relationships can fall by the wayside. But now if you have an agent that's, willing to put in the work and partner with them and treat them with the same level of respect that you did for the last 10, 20, 30 years, that is a great benefit to those clients as well. So it's just a win all the way around, a win for the selling agent, buying agent, and a win for the clients.
Absolutely. And the example I like to use is, dentists have a really, really consistent plan for most of dentists will buy into a practice. Then they'll take over. The old dentist who's retiring will eventually work together for a couple of years, and then they'll leave.
Yep.
And then now that new dentist is going to run that practice for probably, 20 something years, 30 years. And then they're going to find a new dentist and they're going to sell that practice to that dentist. But as the client, when you're going to get your teeth cleaned or you need a cavity or you crack your tooth, you're going to the same doctor's office. Most of the time it's the same front desk staff. It's the same, hygienists and techs and assistants. but the dentist changes, right? But I don't know anyone where you show up at your dentist's office and they've just all disappeared, right? Because they all have in their model, it's just baked into that business is you're going to go to school, you're going to go buy a business to get started. You're not going to just like put up a sign and hope that people walk in and need their teeth cleaned.
Start from scratch.
Right. So you start with this huge head start, but in real estate, we often don't do that. And it's kind of crazy. Same thing with insurance and financial planning. People buy into businesses. They either buy them completely or they start out as a junior partner and then eventually take over.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's different structures for those different businesses, but the idea is the same, is that this does have value. And I think the partial handoff kind of allows you to work together for a while. And to your question of, how do you build that rapport and trust? Well, hey, so you can tell someone, hey, I know you don't know me and we haven't worked together, but here's some client testimonials. If you've bought businesses, you can use the retiring agents' testimonials or have them endorse you to other agents, which is very powerful. But you could also say, hey, I'm just starting to do this. Why don't you give me 10 or 20 buyers that you don't really want to work with, and let's see what I can do. Let's do a little mini version of this. You're going to endorse me to these 20 people, and I'm going to take over, and here's our marketing plan. And the marketing plan needs to be a part of the contract. The contract lays out how long you're going to, work together, what the referral fee is, but also what activities are you guaranteeing you're going to do? Show me your marketing plan. How many times you're going to call? How many events are you going to host? How often are you going to email a newsletter? Are you going to mail stuff to people? Are you going to do classes? What kind of community engagement are you going to do? So for every agent, that's going to be slightly different, but you want to make sure that you and the other agent agree on that plan, because the key really is on executing on the plan.
Yeah.
Assuming you can relate to people and you can help people buy and sell real estate, and you're already running this like a real business.
Correct. And that kind of goes into like your philosophy on database management too, though, right? Because the better you manage the database, the more valuable that asset is when you go to sell it.
100%. So the better the basic information, meaning like you have correct phone numbers and emails and addresses and names, then the next level would be that you have kind of a history of the client and you have an idea of what you think they're going to do next. So I use tags to do that. And then we use a database system called Follow Up Boss, which has really good capacity to like record emails and notes, and you can take notes for your phone calls and you can share that with your team. And so, I'm able to log in to my database and do all of that. But I also have a login for basically a copy of that's in the database for the team I sold my business to. So later today, I'm going to log into that database and go through my top 100 people and like actually go through and personally call a lot of those folks in the database I have that's now being managed by another team.
And what I like about Follow Boss too is like, so when I partnered with Tom, is I had his entire database either tagged or assigned to him.
Yeah.
So that way, and then I made him a user in the account.
Perfect.
So then,
yeah.
Even though I had my own leads, my own database, and my other agents in there, he could see everything pertaining to his asset that he had, that we'd partnered on, and he could see how many times people were being called, how many times they were being followed up, what was being said, and it just provided a lot of transparency throughout that process. Which I don't know, you've done this way more times than I have, but I think the transparency in terms of people getting along and it being a successful partnership, that was huge for Tom and I.
I think it's great. I mean, I think a lot of times people have a really big concern of like, okay, well, yeah, maybe you're a great salesperson. You say you're going to do all this stuff, but how can you prove that you're actually doing it? Well,
show me. Yeah.
Show me what you're really doing, because anyone can talk about what they're going to do, but, show me what you're really doing. And so that's the easiest way to do it. And if not, you can just give a report like, hey, we called X number of people, we set X number of appointments, and, these are our active buyers and our active listings and our pendings. But I did it exactly the same way you're talking about, which is tagging and sourcing that entire client list to that retiring agent so that you can do custom marketing to them. So you could do a series of videos, and you could do it like you could take 10, 20 minutes and record, 4 or 5 videos that you use throughout the year and send it just to that list of clients that are connected to that retiring agent.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're providing this very like bespoke custom experience, very like consistent, deep relationship building and maintaining stuff, but it doesn't have to be really difficult if you organize it and structure it so that you can easily access, okay, here's the 500 clients that came from Tom or Renee or whoever you're working with, and you can have a different message to all of those folks without having it be a huge lift on either of your parts.
I agree, and like you said, Follow Boss is a great tool for that. I'm sure there's other tools out there, but when we come back, so far, just to recap, we've talked about buying businesses, how to partner with the agents, read the book, read the Golden Handoff. It has a lot of great info, and then we talked about kind of database management a little bit. But when we come back, this is all, building towards an eventual exit for you, because not only did you buy other agents' businesses, but you also ended up selling your business and are now living the dream down in La Quinta, right?
That's right. Yeah, I get to play a lot of golf now.
So when we come back, we're going to talk about that. One moment.
Well, I don't know about you, but very rarely do I run into someone in this world who is friendly, nice, genuine, honest, trustworthy, while at the same time, very shrewd when it comes to business and finding great deals. Well, you know what? That, my friends, is Johnny Jennings with Made for More Realty. Not only is he a friendly guy, honest, trustworthy, genuine, but he's also very shrewd when it comes to real estate, knows how to get you the best deals for the most amount of money in the fastest amount of time. He's got an arsenal of tools and resources to help you every step of the process. He's going to make it easy and simple for you. So if that's who you're looking for to sell your home, reach out. Just Google Johnny Jennings with Made for More Realty and get more for your home.